Good morning. Today, what we're going to be looking at is how to create a frequency distribution using Microsoft Excel. So, before we get started with that, what we're going to need to do is we're going to have to use data analysis. So we have to make sure that we've got the proper add-ins in Excel. In order to do this, we'll go to File. So up at the top here in the menu, we'll go to File. We'll click on that, go all the way down to the bottom where it says Options. When we click on Options, we're going to get a menu, and we want to go down until we see Add-ins. So on the side menu here, all the way down to Add-ins. And then we want to make sure the Analysis Tool Pack is an active application add-in. If you don't have it in your active application add-ins, it'll be in your inactive application add-ins. And once again, it'll be Analysis Toolpack. I'll show you what we're going to do. I'm going to use Analysis Toolpack -VBA. So what we do is we select on that, and we don't want to hit OK. What we want to do is we want to hit Go. So once we've selected the add-in we want to add, we'll go to Go. It's going to bring up a menu. We want to make sure that Analysis Toolpack is checked off, and then we'll click OK. And that's going to add in the Analysis Toolpack into our data field. So just make sure you've got that added in. Once it's added in, we can X out. I didn't add it in because it's already added into mine. So just make sure once you check it off, you hit OK. It'll add it in. And now when we go to data, and we'll see we have data analysis, and that'll bring up a nice little menu for us that we're going to need. All right, so to the frequency distribution here. What we can see is we've got patient ages, random sample of patients here. It was originally going to be adult patients. It's now just going to be patients. Um, and we can see as we scroll down, we've got a bunch of raw data here on patient ages. And raw data is very hard to work with. So we want to create a frequency distribution to group our raw data into classes so that we can get a sense of what the data is telling us. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to actually have to manually set up our classes. And before we do that, I recommend just sorting our data from lowest to highest. So I'm just going to go here and in our home page. So make sure you're on the home menu and go all the way across, and you'll see A to Z sort and filter. We're just going to sort smallest to largest. And it's going to put our ages in ascending order, so from smallest to largest. And we can see our smallest age here is 1. And if we go all the way down, our oldest patient was 103. We had 2 patients that were 103. So the next thing that we have to do is we have to know how many pieces of raw data we have to know ideally how many classes we want to set up. In this example, we have 85 pieces of data. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to probably want to aim for somewhere between 6 and 8 classes. So we'll have to manually set these up. um, I like to use nice even numbers, so I did 6 classes, and each class is for uh, 20 years. So our first class is 0 to under 20 years of age. Our second class is 20 to under 40, 40 to under 60, and so on and so forth. So we can see we've got 6 classes, and all our data will be captured within these classes. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to set up a column right beside that. And what we want to put in this column is upper limit of each class. So the highest number that can go into each class. Um, just gonna center that. So, for our first class, we've got 0 to 120. This means we don't want 20 to be actually inputted into this class. If someone's 20 years old, they're going to go to the 20 to under 40 class, not the 0 to under 20. So, what we have to do for our upper class is put in the highest value we want in that class, and that's going to be 19 in this case. So when Excel goes and orders our data for us, it's now in this category going to look for patients that are aged 0 to up to 19 years of age. If someone's 20 years old, it's not going to put that in this class. It's going to put that into our next class. So we have to do the same thing for all our classes. Here, we don't want 40 included. So the highest age we want included is 39. Same thing for the next one, 59, 79, 99, and 119. All right, so we've got our upper limit set for each class, and we've got our classes here. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to use the data analysis feature. So what we just added in that tool pack. And in order to find that, we're going to go along the top until we come to data. And once we select on data, over on the far right, you're going to see data analysis. When we click on that, it's going to bring up a menu. So we can see we've got a menu here. It's got many different options in it. What we're going to pick is histogram. And in my next video, when we go and we create a histogram, we're going to also use histogram for that. But histogram is really good at creating frequency distributions. So once histogram's highlighted, we'll just hit OK. Now, what it's asking for is, okay, what's our input range here? So what data am I taking? And here, what we're going to do is we're going to select our data, which is in cell A3 all the way down to cell A87. So I've selected that. I'm just going to hit the little arrow here to return back to my menu. Perfect. The next thing I have to do is include bin range. And bin range is just the upper limits. So it wants to know the upper limits of the classes. So I'm going to select that data. Once again, once I've selected it, hit my little arrow to return. I didn't include labels, but if you do include labels, you just check off the labels box, and that'll let Excel know that the first row that you selected is labels. And now that I've done that, I'm just going to go to output range because I want it on the same page. If we want it on a new worksheet, just leave it on new worksheet and it will create a new worksheet as soon as you hit OK. Here I want an output range. Once again, I'm just going to go and select where I want that output range to start. So I'm going to say cell C13 and go back to my menu. And now I just hit OK. And we can see it's now gone and it's actually created our frequencies for us. So, couple things here. Bin frequency. Well, bin is not really what we want. For actual frequency distribution, what we want is our classes. So I'm just going to copy those, Control C, and paste them in right here. Control V. I also don't want the more column, so I'm just going to get rid of that. and format it up a bit. No border. Perfect. And we'll just perfect. And then if we want, we can add a border to that. So we'll just go and in Excel under the Home tab, you'll see formatting options. This one with the little grid box, that is our borders. So we're just going to say all border here. And poof, there we go. We've created a frequency distribution. And we can always go and double check this. So 0 to under 20, we have 13 frequencies. We can actually count that if we want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Perfect. Our 14th piece of data is 21, which is in the next class. So we can see Excel's gone and it's actually included it all for us there. Perfect. So that's our frequency distribution. Join me for my next video to show you how to do a histogram.